The last minutes of his life must have been a time of abject terror for him, as they were a time of utter enjoyment for her. And that is the cop talking about Katherine Knight.
We're going down under.
Oh, yeah. This is a fun one. Just because this bitch is whoa.
Can you feel the hunger?
Woo.
Sorry.
Let me tell you. It's a borderline mushroom stamp episode. Part 2 will be a little bit of mushroom stamp. Part 1 is just wild.
I'm fucking stoked for this. This is Jen.
This is Becky.
And this is Too Close to Home.
Welcome.
I feel like we do this every time. The other person, the one who's
Yes.
telling the story is just so ready to get into it that they're like, oh, by the way.
Every time.
On to by and by.
This story brings us to, go ahead, Jennifer, sing it for us.
We come from a land down under.
So our Australian listeners out there, do we have Australian listeners, Jimmy? Oh, we do. Yay. This one's for you guys. And this one goes out to our listeners in Australia.
We will not say anything about shrimps on Barbies. I know that you hate it when we do that.
And I will not even attempt to do an Australian accent because it would be embarrassing to me.
I'm going to attempt it.
Good.
I'm not going to lie.
Do it, girl. You own that shit.
I mean, you already said that me and her have a lot in common. So
I said one thing in common.
Basically, that's a lot. Okay.
You're stretching. You do not want to have a lot in common with her, okay?
True that.
So
Jimmy just looked scared. He just turned around and went.
He should, as we go through. Yeah. He might be sleeping on the couch tonight.
Yes.
So let's dive right in. Katherine Knight was born and raised in a very unconventional and dysfunctional family environment. Her mother, Barbara Ruffin, had been married to Jack Ruffin and lived in the small town of Aberdeen in New South Wales, Hunter Valley. Barbara and Jack had 4 sons before Barbara began an affair with a co-worker of her husband's, Ken Knight. So her husband introduced her to this gentleman, and then they started bumping uglies.
It's so nice when your husband does that, isn't it?
It is, when he introduces you to your Mr. Right.
Yeah.
It really just brings it close to home.
I knew I loved you when my husband introduced me to you.
The Ruffin and Knight families were both very well known in the...
It is a rough in the night.
It is. They were both very well known in the conservative rural town. Both were married, so this caused quite a stir in the small town. And if you've ever lived in a small town, you know everybody knows everybody and everybody knows everybody's business.
Oh, yeah.
So they were hopping mad when they found out.
Hopping.
The affair immediately created backlash for Barbara and Ken, so the two ended up moving to a whole new town in Moree. None of Barbara's sons went with her. She had the 4 boys with the first husband, and none of them came with her. The 2 eldest boys stayed living with their dad, while the 2 younger sons went and lived with the aunt in Sydney. Not sure why they went and lived with the aunt. I don't know. Barbara went on to have 4 additional children with her new husband. Yeah.
Barbara, damn.
Including twin girls born in 1955. Katherine
that
Knight.
had to be fucking horrible. First off, 1955. Being pregnant back in them days, nah, dog. Secondly, with twins?
And it's your 5th pregnancy?
That's like a baby slide at that point. Like,
it probably was easy.
You know, like the Medici family.
She probably just woke up and the babies were there.
The famous Medici family of Italy, the mother, the matriarch of it, they were looking at her skeleton, and she had like an insane amount of children, and her tailbone, which usually goes like this, had curved backwards from giving birth so many times.
Into a slide.
So, no, thank you.
So Katherine Knight was one of these twins. In 1959, when Knight was 4, Jack Ruffin, so that was her mom's first husband, he passed away. So her 2 sons that were living with him came to live with her at this point. So they got the 4 children she had and the 2 oldest so there's 6 children in the house now.
With a big range of ages.
Yes. So Ken Knight, her father, was an alcoholic who openly used violence, intimidation, and would rape his wife. He would chase his wife around the house until he would catch her and then rape her, even if the kids were present. If he caught her in the living room, fucked her in the living room. Caught her in the kitchen, fucked her in the kitchen. And he would do this up to 10 times a day.
A day? No.
A day.
How could you even... Homegirl was probably... She wasn't into this. Like, rape sounds non-consensual to me. So...
She was not into this.
I would feel like there is those couples that were like, oh, don't catch me. But this sounds like, oh my God!
It was. Number 2. Right on the money there.
Oh, it's so healthy.
And Barbara, I guess, with the messed up psyche and whatnot, would often turn to her daughters and talk to them about the intimate details of her sex life and how much she hated sex and hated men.
I mean, I would too, though.
I mean, at that point, I would too.
At that point, but...
Not sure I would sit down
I'm just saying, if my mom came over and was like, let me tell you about the deets, I don't want that tea. Well, that's a tea that I never want to be served.
They were seeing it because, he would just rape them in front of the kids.
Mama, I was there.
Yeah, I saw Mama.
I seen it.
You look like you liked it.
We get it. We also.
Later in life, when Katherine Knight complained to her mother that one of her partners wanted her to take part in a sex act she did not want to perform, her mother told her, put up with it and stop complaining.
Damn, Barbara.
Some good advice, huh?
Fuck. That's real motherly.
It is. It really is. It's really teaching your daughter how to stand on her own. And
for real. Be a great wife.
Knight claims that she was frequently sexually assaulted by several members of her family, though not her father. And this continued up until she was aged 11.
Oh, God.
Psychiatrists accept her claim and the events because they have been largely confirmed by other members of the family. So everybody knew what was going on, too. Oh, and God. Obviously her mom, shut up and put up with it. Stop complaining. You could be getting chased around the house and raped 10 times a day. When Knight went on to attend high school, she went to Muswellbrook, I'm probably messing that all up, high school. She became a loner and is remembered by classmates as a bully who stood over smaller children.
That makes sense. I mean, a lot of bullies are kids who have fucked up home situations.
And she was a large girl. When they say stood over smaller children, literally just would stand over them in all contexts.
Like luring over them.
Yes. She assaulted at least one boy at the school with a weapon, but Katherine was injured once by a teacher. The teacher was I mess that word up every time.
Subsequently.
Thank you. Found to have acted in self-defense. Katherine got hurt because she tried to attack the teacher, and the teacher was like, not today.
No. See, I've seen videos where like teachers are getting assaulted and they can't fight back. I'm like, listen.
Not in the 60s, though.
Not, like, bruh. If I had to be that teacher, they'd be like, you know what? I will rock this kid's world.
Oh, I will rock you into tomorrow.
You ready? You ready to go? You feeling froggy? Let's fucking jump.
Let's go. Because I got wisdom over you, baby.
I don't need a job, bitch. I will flip burgers. I ain't that, but I had to deal with this bullshit.
Ooh, I don't know how teachers do it these days. I do not.
Oh my God, for real. Bless y'all. If you're a teacher, seriously, you're amazing.
You are.
Thank you.
By contrast, when she wasn't in a rage and bullying people, she was a model student who often earned rewards for her good behavior. So she was either whooping ass or being good.
Probably that positive reinforcement was probably the only she ever had in her life. Given that her mother's giving great advice, like, just take it.
Well, now, you'll learn about the family later. There was some abstract positivity is what we're going to call it. We'll get into it when I really paint you a picture of the family
that
later
is
on.
Abstract positivity. I like this. I'm so excited. I love a heartwarming story.
At age 15, she left school. 15, she left school. Okay? 15, she left school. Without ever learning to read or write. How the fuck do you continue to school and get into high school and you don't know how to read or write?
Just pretty much functionally illiterate.
She went on to work at a clothing factory.
Also, how are you going to do something like that? I feel like if you're in a factory, there's going to be a lot of words involved. Signs for this, signs for that.
Yeah, they probably put you on your task, and once you know your task, that's it. She didn't work at the clothing factory for long.
Oh, okay, good.
It was said that she had lower intelligence and was never even able to spell her own name.
God damn.
Yeah.
I mean, Katherine is a hard name. I get it. Impossible if you're illiterate.
We have an excerpt of a letter she wrote later on. It's in part 2. And it really just clutches her inability to read and write.
Oh, wow.
It's... I had to read it like 5 times.
No self-written biography ever coming from her, right?
No. Absolutely not.
I.R. Katherine.
But it won't even say Katherine because she doesn't know how to spell her name.
I.R. Kitten.
Yeah.
She have a seizure on the paper? I don't know, man.
In the little excerpt, she has her children's names and they're not even spelled correct. I literally had to read it like 5 times and I'm still not even sure that I understand it.
I wonder how she did search for baby names. Like,
probably just heard them.
You know what? That sounds nice.
She
how do
didn't
you
have to
spell
write
it?
the birth
Don't worry,
certificate.
I don't know how to read.
Yeah. Spell however the fuck you want. And then here I have a note. Now at age 15, you should possibly be a freshman. And how the hell do you not know how to read or write? But who the hell am I?
There are a lot of people who are, even now, illiterate and have made it through their life. And I just don't. Do you just like memorize symbols, say like these letters as symbol? And then like, why are you just not learning how to read at that point? I can recognize that says X, Y, and Z telling me to stop or whatever.
Right.
I don't know how that works. I know literacy is a big thing.
It's sad. And in this time, I think they just passed people on to move them on.
That's true because it was more like, well, they're the next stage, so we might as well.
Yeah.
We don't want to embarrass them. Nothing like, being embarrassed by you not being able to read.
This next little bit will tell you why they probably didn't care too much about her education.
Oh, Lord.
So 12 months later, she left to start what she referred to as her dream job. What's this dream job? I give you, just shoot out 2 things that you think would be your dream job, Jen.
I feel like she's going Texas Chainsaw Massacre and wanting to be a butcher.
You must have read this before.
I have. I know. I knew she was a butcher. But I was like, maybe?
Close. She went on to work at a slaughterhouse.
Okay, yeah.
And her first...
I just think about this woman, like, okay, picture a lumberjack.
Yeah.
Then just add some long hair.
Yes.
And then a machete.
Yes.
And then a bull. And you're like, cow!
100%. Nailed it. Nailed it. Her first rung of the ladder there was to cut out the internal organs of the animals. So in this town, this was the job to have. All the teens basically just wanted to go through school long enough until they could drop out and be of age to go work at the slaughterhouse. That was like, think of it as this. Here in Texas, the thing the kids want to do is go work on, a pipeline or something.
Yeah.
And the oil industry.
Right.
The slaughterhouse was the oil industry then.
Yeah. Probably also, you have people whose families have been in it.
Yes.
So they're like, I want to be like a cop.
And that was her family. Everybody had worked there, and it was like the family tradition.
I bet the house smelled like pennies.
I bet it did too. She was so good at her job that she was quickly promoted to boning and given her very own set of butcher's knives. At home, these knives were hung over her bed so that they would, quote unquote, always be handy if I needed them. In my sources, which I'll cover at the end because I forgot to do it at the beginning, I listened to the last podcast on the left, their coverage of it, and I was fucking dying when they were talking about her knives and how they were her best friends. And he's like, this one's knifey. This one's pokey. And he gave all the knives. Oh my God. It was hilarious.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. She really did. These knives were like her best friends. She probably loved them more than her children.
Oh.
They were her prized possession.
Absolutely. It came from her fucking dream job. You know how much blood has been spilled on those knives? They are seasoned finely.
Yes, they are. And if you think about it, when you think about her knives being so important to her, anybody that has a craft, their tools are important. A mechanic, they take very good care of their tools. They buy expensive tools at home. They hang them up, take good care of them, you know. Me as a nurse, my instruments, my stethoscope, my things like that, I take very good care of them. They cost a lot of money. And I'm like, look at this shiny new stethoscope. JJ's like, I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, this thing was like $150. Look how nice it is.
Like, I'm basically balling. This is the Rolls Royce of stethoscopes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you think about it just in that context, that's not really abnormal behavior to be so proud of those. Because they are what she does her craft with. But she's fucking cuckoo, so.
Don't let that fool you.
While working in the slaughterhouse, Knight met David Kellett. He was a raging alcoholic too.
Oh my God, just like her dad.
Just like daddy. David was prone to fistfights.
What? He's going to fit in great.
Great. So, Kellett, though, was said to engage in heavy drinking due to 2 traumatic incidences from his previous railway jobs in Coffs Harbor. First, his best friend was killed in front of him in a shunting accident. And then later, he rescued injured occupants of his school bus in Kimsey, which had been struck by a train, killing 6 children. So they said after those 2 incidents, he started drinking to kind of cope, and then that's how he became the alcoholic. So
what's shunting?
It is an Australian term, and I don't know.
Jimmy's Fun Facts. The act of shunting is where humanoid aliens strip their flesh and have a cannibalistic orgy, according to Urban Dictionary. Okay, now that I have your attention, shunting is actually a railway term which refers to sorting items of rolling stock, meaning powered and unpowered railway vehicles into complete trains and vice versa. In the United States, this activity is known as switching.
I just feel like it sounds very dangerous.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Also, that school bus thing, like, I'm a hero, but
6 kids dying, and you're like going through mangled bodies, pulling children off. Yeah.
Are you alive? No.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, you know.
I'd be drinking too, son.
Yeah. So I felt like it was important to add that because I didn't want it just to be that he was an alcoholic, kind of understand the backstory why he was, and that he wasn't a terrible person. I'm not excusing any alcoholic, but sometimes like, you can understand the situation.
Like soldiers with PTSD, they've been through traumatic stuff, and sometimes they don't get the treatment that they deserve and need, and it causes a lot of problems for them, like anger, violence, and that kind of stuff. And
instead of medications, they medicate themselves with alcohol and drugs.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And that's kind of what this guy was doing. Knight used to surprise her new beau when she would join in on his drunken scuffles and fight with the men too.
She's a bad bitch.
And I just want to say, folks, if that's not love, I don't know what the hell is.
I don't. My thing is like, you gonna get in there. First of all, I don't even want to be hit.
No,
I do not.
Especially by a man.
If I had to throw down, I would, but I don't want to.
I don't ever.
So
want
I will
to
do everything in my body and soul to prevent that.
True.
The fact that she's just like, fuck yeah, good scuffle.
Oh yeah, yeah, And add to note, she preferred to fight men over women.
She probably obliterated the shit out of women.
Only 2 incidences of note of her fighting women. All the rest are men.
I mean, was it a 2-second fight? Like 2 hits, I hit you, you hit the ground?
One was 1 hit and they hit the ground.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. David found Katherine could do more damage than in just a fight, and soon he found himself being dominated by her. So, like I said before, Katherine was a large woman. And when I say a large woman, I'm not referring to weight. I'm referring to stature and build. Mm-hmm. She was around 6 feet tall and just a stocky lady.
Ooh, I bet she was 6 feet tall. She's probably like a woman who does like shot put and shit. Like, yes. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Picture that. That's how she was. And I mean, she's in the slaughterhouse, slaughtering up. Yeah.
Gaining all those muscles and shit.
Oh, yeah. And
that's without steroids.
Without. Oh, natural, baby.
Imagine if she had them, the rage she would have had.
And
silver lining. It could always be worse.
Could always be worse. I don't know, though. You haven't heard the whole story. She was apt to starting relationships with men of smaller stature. So she preferred a man of like 5'5". And this was basically so that she could whoop their asses. So it's basically
like my mom and dad. My mom's like 5'10", and my dad's like 5'6".
But was it so she could beat his ass?
No.
Yeah, that's why she picked little fellas. She could push him around.
Put him in a pocket.
Exactly. Exactly. He was really cute and charming.
You guys ready to go? We're going to go fight at the bar.
And all this fighting at the bar and whooping ass of her husband and random men. Keep in mind, she didn't drink alcohol at all. She did not consume alcohol at all at this point. None.
Jesus.
Yeah. She
You
was
do
just
that shit straight up sober?
sober fighting men.
First of all, I don't even want to experience parts of life sober, okay? Definitely not a fucking not a fight.
Yeah.
And you gonna go in there just not even blackout, not a Polaroid night, nothing.
Nope.
She ain't got not even on meth.
Nope. Just straight living off the voices in her
Adrenaline and
head.
bullshit. Fuck.
And
Maybe, oh my God. What if she was like, what's her name? We did the episode on the Countess.
Oh, Bathory.
Instead of getting beauty from young girls, she's killing cows.
Oh,
You gonna fuck around with a bull? I think not.
She was bathing in blood.
She was bathing in
It was
blood.
making her stronger. Okay. I like where your head's at.
I'm gonna go out and try to find the richest person I know and bathe in their blood. No, I'm just kidding, guys. No, I'm kidding. Please, I swear. Don't put me in jail.
In 1974, she convinced David to marry her. He did not want to, but she broke him down. He was heavily intoxicated.
Like literally broke him down. Sitting on him. You marry me!
She does
Boy, you could!
she does do stuff like that later. We're just dipping our toe in the crazy juice right now. Dipping it.
I'm having so much fun with this.
Testing the waters. So he was heavily intoxicated this whole time. And
I mean, with a big bitch like that.
like 2 days up before the wedding, he's just drinking, staying completely drunk. Shows up to the service completely drunk. As soon as they arrive to so after they marry and they arrive to the reception or whatever, her mother, Barbara, gave Kellett some advice. This is a quote. So mind the verbiage that I sound a little uneducated. Not me talking. You better watch this one or she'll fucking kill you. Stir her up the wrong way or do the wrong thing and you're fucked. Don't ever think of playing up on her, cheating on her. She'll fucking kill you. She's got a screw loose somewhere.
Your mama's saying that.
Your mama is saying that.
Woo! And that was probably a nice version of what she really is.
And I want you to keep in mind, this is the mama. Okay, your mama's saying you got a screw loose and there's something wrong with you. But this is the woman that told you when you didn't want to do sex shit, just suck it up and don't fucking complain. Yeah. And used to beat her children.
Yeah.
She's already fucked up and she's saying you fucked up. So you really, really fucked up.
It's a real fucked up thing.
Real fucked up. And as I said in my next thing, this is coming from her mother who was a pretty horrible person herself. Be like fucking Ed Gein telling someone they're bad.
Like, ooh, I don't know about that fella.
Exactly.
Even I say no.
So on their wedding night, keep in mind, Kellett's really intoxicated, been drinking for 2 days. Just got told, and this bitch will probably fucking kill you. She's got a screw loose. Knight tried to strangle him on their wedding night. She later explained it was because he fell asleep after only having intercourse with her 3 times.
First of all,
I already knew where this was going to go, but take me there.
Not once, not twice, 3. I remember we had our little wedding and I had about 30 fucking million bobby pins in my hair and I forgot my damn hairbrush. And this motherfucker was like, let's get it in. And I was like, first of all, I got half a beer today. You got all the drinks. I was so mad 3 times. The hell you thinking?
Right? She was upset because when her parents got married, they had sex 5 times on the night of their wedding. And she was pissed that her and David didn't keep up with that number or beat it. First of all, I don't know how many times my parents did it on their wedding night, and I don't want to know.
No.
Because in my eyes, they don't do that.
That never has happened.
No.
We were immaculate conceptions.
Exactly.
As immaculate as hippies could be.
I'm not trying to outfuck my mom. I promise you.
No,
promise you.
Okay, so you know, some little girls will be like, when I get married one day, I'm going to have this dress. And when I get married one day, I'm going to fuck my husband at least 6 times because that's what Mom and Pa did, want to beat the record. No.
She was known as a girl who likes to root, a rooting girl. That's the Australian slang for get it on.
Let's get it on. I know.
So Kellett, they wrapped up their 3rd time and he fell asleep, passed out as it's a man.
3 times
and
you shit face for days?
Yeah.
I'm surprised you got it 3 times.
I am too. That's
first time. Whiskey dick's real. Right?
Kellett woke up to her strangling him. He was asleep and she was apparently sitting on the edge of the bed just fuming. You know how sometimes you be pissed and they fall asleep and you're over there like, this motherfucker asleep. I'm so mad. It ain't about not having sex more than 3 times. I assure you that.
There was a TikTok of a woman and her husband was sleeping and she walked up and she was like, sometimes you just want to, and was like acting like she was going to hit him, but didn't. She goes, just wanna. Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
She did though. So she's sitting over there fuming, legs shaking. And then she's like, fuck this. Hops on him, starts strangling the motherfucker. I know.
He probably was like, this is it.
So he managed to fight her off. Even though she attempted to kill him, only 1 day into their marriage, their union lasted for 10 more years.
It's a long... So me and Jimmy have been married 10 years. That is a long ass time to be married to somebody like that.
That tried to strangle you on your first night.
After their mama had done told you, they're a little crazy.
You might die. And I bet he was like, oh, fuck, I might die.
What that for? They had a friend that said this, women who are insanely good at sex
are crazy.
And that's God's way of making you pay for it.
Well.
That was wishful thinking for him.
The marriage proved particularly violent, and on one occasion, a heavily pregnant Knight burned all of Kellett's clothes and shoes before hitting him in the back of the head with a frying pan because he arrived home late from a darts competition after reaching the finals. So she had okayed him to go to the bar, okay to be in this darts competition.
But you better not be one motherfucking minute late.
Yes. But his team did really well and they advanced to the finals, so he came home late. And she cut up all his shit, burned it up, and then hit him in the back of the head with the frying pan. So,
we all know that women go through a lot of shit when they're pregnant, okay?
Right,
It's not exactly a great mental time for us.
No.
As a woman who has had a baby, I can't imagine how you did it 3 times. You are a goddess, okay? I'm just saying.
If you could tell me that every day, that'd be great.
I will, girl.
And I prefer countess, but carry on.
This bitch is crazy. And then you going to knock her up and just try to test her patience? Bro,
after she tried to strangle you, let's not forget.
I'd be watching my P's and fucking Q's real quick.
After she hit him in the head with the frying pan, he got a little scared.
I would do.
And he took off running to the neighbors.
Fucking Forrest Gumped out of there.
He collapsed in the front yard and had to be taken to the hospital and treated for a severely fractured skull. This bitch broke his head.
Not even like a light fracture, which is, I would say, more normal for like someone getting hit on the head, but fucking like he was in a car accident fracture. God damn.
But
you next time won't be fucking late, will you? You might not be able to look at him one eye.
Never late again.
Have a little slur and can't walk straight, but you won't be fucking late.
Police wanted to charge Knight, but she changed her behavior and managed to talk him into dropping the charges. They said she was very good at manipulation.
She had to be masterful because I would have been like,
Girl, she is something else. In May of 1976, shortly after the birth of their first child, Melissa Ann, Kellett had enough and he snuck out in the middle of the night and left her. He found another woman and he moved to Queensland with her. Bounced the fuck out. The next day, Knight was seen pushing their little baby in a stroller up and down the street, violently swinging the stroller side to side.
What the fuck?
So they called the Popo. The Popo came, and she, sure enough, was walking down the street, just swanging the stroller with the baby in it.
Giving it shaking baby syndrome.
Hollering and whatnot. They detained her and took her to St. Elmo's Hospital in Tamsworth, where she was diagnosed with postpartum depression and spent weeks recovering.
Is the baby okay, though?
Baby's okay. After being released, she's cured. Knight then placed...
That's a fast and loose term right there. Cured. As in, the doctors were probably like, get this bitch out of here. She broke another orderly's leg last night.
Exactly. Knight got released. She then went on to take little Melissa and go put her on the railroad tracks, knowing that the line was shortly to receive a train. Back then the trains ran on a scheduled time. She knew the train was coming, so she went and put the baby on the train track and bounced. Holla at your girl. Luckily, a vagrant known in the district as Old Ted was out foraging for nuts and berries.
What?
Near the railway line.
Nuts and berries.
And found
What
and
year
rescued
was this?
Melissa. This was 1976.
Also, Australia. Nuts and berries where?
By all accounts, he found the baby just minutes before the train was to have passed.
Oh, shit.
And they said they just saw old Ted, the old local hobo, walking around carrying a baby. And they're like, yo, Ted, what's going on? Why you got a baby?
Where you get that baby, Ted?
He's like, I found it on the railroad.
Craziest shit happened. I was just out looking for nuts and berries.
Exactly.
And there was a baby just hanging on. Like, baby, why you hanging out over here? Don't you know a train's coming? Well, come on with the old Ted. We going to go to town.
That is... I actually have the transcript, and that's exactly what happened. Now the baby ain't died. They done saved it from the swinging stroller.
That's twice this baby survived.
Girl. So...
Please tell me someone adopted this baby.
Oh, no. It
Oh,
lived
God,
with her
no.
whole life, yeah. So then, still pissed off, what's Katherine going to do? Nothing that she is... These rage-filled acts have really come to anything to relieve it, so to speak. So what does she do? She goes and steals an axe, goes into town, and just starts swinging it around, threatening to kill people.
Just a swinging.
Literally, people were running in their fucking houses, locking the door, like peeping out the curtains, hoping that old Katherine...
She come. If the bitch is crazy enough to have an axe in the 70s running around, woo! You couldn't find me near a window. Ain't nobody here. It's fucking dilapidated and abandoned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And everybody knew her. Her family was well known. So
they
they're
probably
like,
thought this shit probably happened at least once a month.
Yes, pretty much, yes.
Oh my God, who let her out again?
And keep in mind, she's only 20 years old at this point.
Holy shit. I was in my head thinking she was like in her 30s.
Yeah, you're thinking...
She's got so much terror
You think
ahead
there's
of her.
like some years of shit that's like... I mean, she had her childhood and whatnot, but no, she's only 20 and already off the motherfucking rails.
God.
But an important note to keep in mind is the whole Knight family was fucking known for their violent and scary shenanigans.
Mm-mm.
So once again, they went and got old Katherine out the street swinging the axe, and she was sent back to the mental ward. But again, kept for a very short time and released.
Who needs mental health?
Only a few days after being released, Knight decided the whole motherfucking town needed to pay.
Yes.
And keep in mind, all of this rage and all of these events are because David left.
Yeah.
And
which is obviously the town's fault, okay?
Well, let me tell you why it is the town's fault. I like your segue into this. Good timing, Jim. So it is the town's fault because David couldn't leave her before because his vehicle was broken down. But he had the town mechanic who had fixed the car shortly before, which was how he was able to leave her. So therefore, it was the mechanic's fault. And since the town used the mechanic, it was the town's fault. You following me on this crazy loophole we're going here? Just grab a string and I'll lead you along because it's curvy.
I bet nobody will ever do anything for that family ever again. No, you see what happened to the last mechanic?
Yeah. She then, still enraged, went down the street to her friend Margaret Macbeth's house. Now, Margaret was a teenager who worked at the slaughterhouse with Katherine. Katherine went down there and was like, hey, my baby's sick. I need a ride to the hospital. So the neighbor's like, okay, yeah. I'll help you. Katherine's like, come pick me and the baby up at the house. So the neighbor's like, okay. Well, she loaded her whole family up into the car to go get her because she had a bunch of children herself.
Can't leave them at home, you know.
And goes down to pick up Katherine, and she's standing outside. When they show up and Katherine sees the whole family in the car, she said, quote, there's too many of you. Well, I'm going to have to get rid of some of you. And at that point, she reaches into the baby stroller and pulls out a knife. Not just any knife, but one of her favorite knives. Knifey Jr. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what that
I'm just thinking of like, remember Crocodile Dundee? That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Yes, right there. That was her. She first went after Marge, but Marge was like, I'm out, motherfucker. And she slashed at her, but she was only able to like get a little wound
nick
on her face. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it so casually, but it could have been worse.
Yeah.
She then pulled out a pair of scissors and bandages and told them, I'm going to slice you all up and then bandage you back together.
What kind of sick game of operation is this?
And what in your opinion would be more terrifying? The knife or the scissors?
Scissors?
Scissors, for sure.
Because I feel like
I'm with you.
it end up getting slippery, and like I know the same thing happens with knives, but like then
like
you can open it up into two, and then it's like really, and like I just feel like there's so much more shit that could happen with a crazy motherfucker like that.
I feel like with the knife, and she cared about her knife, so they were probably sharpening on the whetstone. And
she's an artist, you know?
Yeah. So if she got me with the knife, it'd probably be quick.
Yes.
Yeah. Clean, quick, to the point. The scissors, I feel like you're going to have to get me a couple times, and it's not going to be fun. Not that either situation is fun.
No. But I'd rather a quick than slow. Like hit me just if I have to die, get one of my arteries and just let me. You know what I mean?
And clearly, you don't plan on taking my life with the scissors because you want to bandage me back together. So I feel like that's going to be much.
I mean,
worse.
that's a little bit of a comfort. Like, oh, we may survive this. Look, they're still alive.
So, So the family had run onto the porch at this point, and they noticed in, the havoc creating that Katherine is looking around on the porch, because she's kind of got him cornered with her scissors and her fucking knife and all
I ain't running by it.
shit she's pulling out. And she's a big ass woman.
Yeah.
They noticed she's looking around on the porch. Well, she was looking for a gun that she stashed away on the porch. But luckily, for some reason, a few days before, her dad just had this bad feeling, and he'd went and retrieved the gun and taken it. So if she would have gotten that gun, she probably would have killed the whole family. And remember, this lady had her children with her. Yeah.
I'm just baffled that her dad's like, I feel this might keep Katherine from killing somebody. Let me not do anything else about it, but get this gun.
Yeah.
There are children
well, she'd
around.
already been in the mental health facility. They hadn't done shit, so who's he going to call? She never even got arrested for those incidents. She just went to the mental hospital. She never got any charges for
because I bet they were baffled as shit. Like, this bitch is, I don't even know how do you categorize this. This is just wild.
And I get to the swinging the baby in the stroller. Okay, yeah, let's go get her some mental health. The stealing the axe and running around the town, I feel like that needs to be a criminal charge.
I also feel like,
but again, who am I?
When she was in the mental ward, she does not feel like the type that's going to admit that she's wrong.
Oh, no, absolutely not. You are correct, my friend. While the family's on the porch, okay, we talked about that, the gun. She then held them hostage with the knife and the scissors and demanded they drive her to Queensland to find David. The woman, trying to quick think, how can we survive this, says, okay, let's go find this motherfucker. She said, but we got to stop at the gas station and get some gas. Crazy ass Katherine thought this was a good idea because she also needed to cash a check. And if that don't give you Diane Down vibes,
I know,
balancing the checkbook on the side of the road, I don't know what does.
You guys are gonna have to wait a minute. I'm so behind on this. I've been meaning to take care of it. You guys sit here. Don't worry. Knifey Jr.'s watching.
She's on like a murderous rampage. Keep in mind, she has the baby with her too.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even know. Oh, shit.
Remember, because it was sick? So, yeah, she's toting this fucking baby with her while doing all
Was
this.
the knife in with the baby?
Yes.
God damn.
Yes. I told you this hoe was crazy. She is wild.
I would not be. I am just.
Oh, we're not even halfway through this hostage plan here.
Oh, my God.
So, they get to the gas station and the family shags ass and they run into the office in the gas station and they lock the door. They are thinking like, okay, lock ourselves in here. Cops are going to come, whatever. This, of course, just pissed off Katherine more. This bitch goes over and rips a blade off a tractor that was hitched, a tractor mower, rips the fucking motor blade off and is on her way to go hack her way into the office to get these motherfuckers. With her bare hands, Jennifer.
What the fuck is
Ripped
she made
the
out
motor
of?
blade off. She's scary.
I'm terrified. Fucking just walked over there, just tink, clink. Let's go. The fuck?
Yes.
Those things are thick.
Yes. So
Also, how you gonna like just fucking right off? No, without cutting yourself? And tetanus. Have we not even thought about that?
First of all, the government made that up too. But whatever.
Fake news.
She's crazy. Remember, let's not forget this, okay? In case you have somehow slid back and forgot she's crazy. She decides she sees Hoppy. Hoppy is the mechanic with one leg that works there.
No.
I can't make this shit up. Bro, it's all true.
How'd you get your name?
That's exactly how, because he had one leg. That's how he got his name. So Hoppy uses his crutches. She goes and throws the blade down that she's ripped off and steals Hoppy's crutches. Because that's what she's going to bust into the door with. I swear to God, y'all, read the book. I'm not making this up.
First of all,
I know
I feel
it
like she
seems
probably
made up.
could get through that door with her bare hands.
Or the blade. Either of.
Or the blade.
Mhm.
But I've seen crutches and
Wouldn't be my first choice.
no.
And if I could rip a blade off of a mower,
Yeah.
bitch, I'm going bare knuckle through that door.
I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna fucking Mr. Kool-Aid come in here. Oh yeah.
Yes. But no, she felt the best thing was a crutch. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense with crazy.
And you can't.
Can't. So she did bust through the door with a crutch. Not surprised. Not surprised. This is like the fucking Incredible
Did she
Hulk
just put
at
the
this
crutch
point.
on her arm and just go boom? Look what the crutch did.
Turn it into like some fucking Terminator style shit. I don't know. Oof. So she grabs one of the kids out, holds a knife to his throat, and takes him hostage. And if you can believe it, it's not even over yet, okay? There's still crazy coming. Just in this one incident. The police arrive at this point, and they convince her to let the boy go. They disarm her, the police,
With like a tranquilizer?
by attacking and poking her with brooms.
No.
Again, I can't make this shit up. They
Oi!
literally, yes, exactly.
Ugh.
They're like, put it down, Katherine. And they're poking her with fucking brooms. They just chase her around the inside of the service station, poking her with brooms until she just gets exhausted and just drops everything and gives up. Fucking brooms, bro.
It makes me think of like what's the name of the ape on the tower? King Kong. Makes me think of King Kong, and he's like getting hit by like guns. Yes. And he's like, me.
Yes. Yeah.
Finally.
I love it.
Fuck.
You painted a beautiful visual for me. Exactly what it's like.
I'm just gonna lay down and have a nap. Catherine's tired.
That is probably what she said too. She runs out of energy after being poked with the brooms. She collapses on the floor. They detain her, put her in the straitjacket, take her back off to the psychiatric hospital. Again, she did not get any criminal charges.
I would have been so pissed if I was that family.
She done cut someone's face. She done took him hostage, kidnapped him in the car.
They would have been dead if that gun had been there.
Yeah. She done busted through the door with a crutch.
Fucking burgled a lawnmower.
Yes. And got poked to death by brooms.
That was the most horrifying part.
It really was. Police brutality.
Next to Hoppy's name.
She spent a few months in the psychiatric hospital and was released. And guess who picked her up from the hospital? Her husband, David.
The one who started all this.
Yes.
Basically his fucking fault. Fucking David.
Yeah, in his defense, I would have ran like shit.
I'm just doing like what I would think Katherine would say. Fucking David.
Knight was released into the care of her mother-in-law her mother and Kellett. So she went to her mother's home initially. They, of course, her family believed all of this was David's fault. Because, they only hear one side of the story and they're about as fucking crazy as she is.
Yeah.
He showed up to go pick her up and take her home. And Catherine's mom, Barbara, went outside and started choking David. She was like, "You motherfucker, what are you doing here trying to get my daughter?" And she starts choking a motherfucker. So Catherine's like, "Oh, no. Nobody beats my husband but me."
It's just like us.
Exactly. So she goes out there, grabs her mom, swings her around, hits her one time in the face, and knocks that bitch out. Bam! Hits the ground. That was one of her women fights. After this, David, Catherine, and their daughter moved to Queensland. So when they get to Queensland, she gets a new job at a slaughterhouse. And this is when Catherine receives her most special set of knives. She took them everywhere with her. And at night, she would once again hang them above the bed. Just had little hooks like your pictures up there above your bed. But she took the knives everywhere. And then at the end of the night, would hang them up above the bed.
Like, I'm just imagining her going to a restaurant, placing the knives across of her on the table, ordering them something. What would you like to cut today? Nobody's around for you to cut. Okay, we're going to have to do actual food.
You want a steak? You want fries? You want lettuce today? What do you want to cut today?
Gotta eat. You gotta cut smarter now.
Not harder, smarter. So one night, David's sleeping. He wakes up to Catherine sitting on his chest with her most prized knife with the tip pressed against his jugular vein.
I mean, I know I was talking earlier, like...
When you said, yeah, I was like...
But I would literally shit a brick.
And she told him when he opened his eyes and looked up, just wanted to let you know I could kill you if I wanted to.
And if I hadn't already pissed myself...
I have now. Yeah. I have soiled my panties.
Oh!
And then she just climbed off of him and went to sleep. Then, as these stories usually go, Knight left him. He was working as a long-haul truck driver.
He probably was like, thank you, God.
Yeah. He came home one night and she was gone. Packed up the shit, took the kid, bounced out. So what do you think David did? Jen already said, thank God.
Probably had a really good Hunger Man that night. Had a beer. Cried himself to sleep with happiness.
He went out and celebrated and got what Australians called pissed as a fart. And that is getting shit-faced, hammered, blackout drunk, celebrating her leaving. So Catherine spent the next 8 years single, moving all over, working at different slaughterhouses. But eventually, she came back to Aberdeen, where I'm sure the town was ecstatic to see her return. They bet they just missed her.
There was probably a ticker tape parade waiting for her.
I bet there was. She then met and jumped into a romance with David Saunders, a local miner.
Has a thing for David's, huh?
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice that. I was so enthralled with the crazy, I didn't even notice the names. Within a few months, Saunders already moved in with her.
I wonder if that's because she recognized, like, how to write that out, maybe functionally. Like, I don't want to have to learn a whole new name.
Like you said, you don't learn, but you recognize the letters that go along with it. David, that means man.
What's your name? Ronnie? Won't work.
Won't work. I'll never be able to tell when you're on my caller ID or anything.
Sorry, it's been nice, but no.
Hard pass.
Me and my knives are leaving.
Me and Knifey Jr. are out of here. However, even though he moved in, he kept his apartment. And Knight became...
I mean, did he hear about her past? Because I'd be like...
Oh, all these motherfuckers knew who she was. Except for one. There's only one man that she has a relationship with who didn't know anything about her. But he kept his apartment because he knew bitch was crazy. She became incredibly jealous and suspicious about what he did when she wasn't around. They would fight. She would throw him out. Then she'd go beg him to return. He'd come back. And like her previous relationships, this one quickly grew toxic and violent. So one night, when they had been fighting, things came to a violent turn. They're fighting, they're hollering. Well, she grabs old Knifey and she runs out the back door. Well, he's like, you know what? Maybe she's just running to cool off. We've been fighting all day. And he like goes to walk off in the living room. And then he's like, oh shit, wait a minute. My puppy's out back. He turns around and goes to the backyard. And this bitch is standing there with his dog holding it. And she had slit its throat and killed it. And
what the fuck?
Let him know what she was capable of if he ever had an affair. I told you, bitch just gets crazier and crazier. And it's all kinds of different crazy.
Yeah.
She doesn't have like one crazy. It's all of them.
It's crazy of the week.
But
crazy du jour. Okay.
Their love prevailed.
I bet.
They stayed together. Although this did scare the shit out of him. So he took off for the night because he was like, we've been fighting. She slit the dog's throat. Probably don't need to sleep here tonight. So he went to his neighbor's house. Katherine then attempted suicide, which is a past of hers when men leave, is to attempt suicide, quote unquote, to lure them back in. And so, of course, he came back. Now, I'm sure you're wondering why all these men keep just being enthralled with her. Well, in David's words, she was good at getting them to come back because she liked to apologize on her knees. And I hope you get what I'm laying down there.
Yep. I feel like that's a trouble for a lot of guys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they said there was something about her sexually that when any of the men talked about her, they got like a twinkle in their eye.
Even after?
Even after.
Oh my God. She bet bitch laid down like a porn star.
Shortly after this, Katherine just decided that she didn't want to work anymore.
I mean, shit, if you laying it down like that, you deserve not to work no more.
So she started lifting heavy dressers repeatedly around the home to strain her back. And this way she would have injuries when she'd go see the workman's comp doctor until eventually it worked and they gave her workman's comp. During this time,
at least, she did do the, where she wasn't faking. She's like, I gotta fuck my back up, so if I'm gonna get this workers' comp,
but her back wasn't fucked up. She just didn't want to work anymore.
She just strained it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she was trying to have that evidence there.
Yes.
Just saying, she was great at doing fraud.
Yes, people like her are what makes it hard for people who actually get hurt to get workman's comp these days. So while she wasn't working, she decided it would probably be a good idea to have another child. After an argument one night with David, she hit him in the face with an iron before she stabbed him in the abdomen with a pair of scissors. He decided, I think I'm going to bounce.
You know what? Maybe this isn't worth it.
So he shagged ass, said this is what really scared him.
That's not the fucking slit in the dog's throat?
Mm-mm. The stab with the scissors to the abdomen. I know.
Thinking
I
with
wouldn't
your
have stuck
dick.
around to ever get to that point.
I don't have a dick, so that's why I'm thinking clearly.
Is exactly why. He left, but he came back, and when he came back, he found she'd cut up all his clothes like she liked to do. And he decided it's probably time to go into hiding for a bit. But of course, Knight tried to find him, but nobody would tell her where he was. Well, several months later,
Listen, as long as you don't want me, baby, I'll tell you anything. Just don't bring Knifey Jr. over here.
I don't want to kick it with y'all. I got enough friends.
I'm good.
After a few months of hiding, Saunders came back and he wanted to see his daughter. But he found out that while he was gone, Katherine had went to the police and told them that she was afraid of him and took out a restraining order against him. he shagged ass again. And what does any true woman who loves a man do? She went out and fucking tried to track him down.
Yeah.
All over town. But
maybe with a weapon in her hand. Who knows?
But luckily for him, she found another man that she liked even better. And this is when she met John Chillingsworth. And that is where we will end episode 1 of the batshit
Who are you
crazy
looking for?
lady.
My fucking dick of a boyfriend. Ooh, you're hot.
Right there. That's what
You know
happened.
what?
You know what? You could be cast as her in the movie. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. You're giving
I'm gonna have to start
giving me
practicing my
Katherine Knight
accent.
vibes.
Jimmy doesn't give you the vibes. What kind of vibe?
It only gets better in episode 2, so make sure you come back and listen to that one if this hasn't scared you off.
Oh, for real. And if you loved it, don't forget to subscribe and to rate us on any platform that you listen. Maybe every platform if you love us.
Please.
Maybe sport some of our merch. That's also available in our link tree in our social media bios, which we have as well. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And if you have your own Too Close to Home stories,
Please share it.
give us a shout.
I cannot stress to you enough how nosy I am, and I want to hear all the stories.
And we've had people reach out. We got one that I talked to last week that is going to be coming up in a series. So get ready, kids. Hold on to your butts.
Yep. In the meantime,
Oh, shit, that was you.
stay safe
Keep your eye on a swivel.
and don't bring it so close to home that you let Katherine Knight come to your house.
Yeah, don't bring that bitch home.
Don't do it.
She brings her knives with her.
Yes.
Who wants to cut the turkey?
Knifey.
Catherine does.
Knifey Jr., Low Blade, Pokey, Sharp Stick. She got them all.
It's Slicey and Dicey. They're twins.
No, we're not naming the twins rhyming names.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode of Too Close to Home, don't forget to rate and subscribe to us on most platforms. Follow us on our social media at Too Close Home Pod on Facebook, at Too Close Podcast on Instagram, or if you have your own Too Close to Home experience, shoot us your story at tooclosetohome@yahoo.com. Thanks for listening.